Hello, friends. Good evening. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler. This is Cosmic Connections for the week, and I welcome you to sit back and enjoy some stories tonight. I'm in a very much a storytelling mood because as of 5 o'clock this afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time, we are now in the disseminating phase of the Cancer cycle, meaning that we have these 8 phases every month, and as the moon peaked in its full cycle on Friday night, now we get to talk about all the wisdom we learned relative to that full buck moon that occurred on Friday. Welcome, Joanne, Patricia, Jody, Paula, Melody. Hello, hello. Hi there. Sorry I'm a little late. Good evening, Joanne. I missed talking to you. We have to connect. Hi, Terry and Karen, and thank you for being here, my dear friends. Can you feel the energy? It's just perking up on all sides. It really is. So, before I get into my little personal story, because I love telling stories as my Sagittarius North Node, I do want to consider that everyone who is listening has heard some news about, at least here in my neck of the woods, more of a return to restrictions relative to the V. And I'm calling the configuration that's happening tomorrow, which is Mars exactly opposite Jupiter, a blast from the past. And so we're all kind of feeling a little bit jittery, but we're going to talk about 3 things, actually 4 things tonight. And we're going to weave a story. I'm going to do a little storytelling and connect the dots with the different astrological configurations that have occurred in the past 6 months. You see, astrology never takes place in an isolation. You have a moment in life, just like our moments of our lives don't occur in isolation. There are threads and themes and narratives and excitement and drama all woven in our lives, and the astrology tends to reflect that, not cause it. I think it's just a reflection, in my humble opinion. So thank you for being here, my dear friends. So number one, right off the bat, most of you have, or many of you, I should say, but many of you should be aware that for the past 25 years or so, I have been teaching in Western New York on Thursday nights. I'm not going to be teaching a class tomorrow, and there's a good reason for that, and that's a part of the story. And I also want to welcome our listeners and watchers from Australia and around the world, because I am a very proud agent with the CIA. And so if you're listening to the CIA page, you already know what a jewel of a page that is. I put a link up in the descriptions of a wonderful gift from the Cosmic Intelligence Agency, of which I'm Agent 56. What is it? What is it? Well, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, interactive astrological web sites on the planet. And it's designed to give information and community to astrology, astrologers, and people who are interested in astrology from all across the world. So, in other words, if you're new to astrology, and some of you just kind of stumble upon my little cosmic connections every week, and you're a little nervous because this seems like an unusually intricate language. Well, the Cosmic Intelligence Agency offers webinars and teaching and articles. And it's just a fantastic place to touch in with your astrological learning. So I want to make that very clear to you. A little thing about myself: I've been doing astrology professionally since 1987, since my first Saturn return. And it is a language of wisdom and support, I believe, from the universe. And it's an amazing gift. Even if you just know, and I do little Reader's Digest versions of the astrological energy, but it's much more intricate. And I'm going to be in teaching mode tonight to show you how the web of astrology is weaved throughout a 6-month period. So welcome, welcome. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler. I also put my link to my page. You can learn about a little bit of astrology. Plus, if you want, you can also have your chart drawn up. There's a little free app on my home page if you're not sure when I talk about rising signs what that might be. So again, warm greetings to you all. So let's go to this week's energy. There are 8 phases of the moon, and the phase we're in now, as of 2 hours ago, is called disseminating. It's when, as of where my longitude and latitude is in Buffalo, New York, the moon was in the sign of Aries, Aries 6 degrees, forming an angle to the sun, which suggests that we are wanting to explore and share and teach. It's very appropriate I do that tonight, wherever 6 degrees of Aries falls in your chart. So first off, you sophisticated astrologers identify 6 degrees of Aries, because that's what's being blossoming in this moment. To talk about the Sabian symbol relative to 6 degrees is kind of interesting, because the Sabian symbol, or the word picture for that degree, is a man succeeding in expressing himself simultaneously in 2 realms, almost living 2 lives. So the question of the night might be this: are you somewhat divided in your life in some ways? I think we all are, right? Is there a side to you that you don't show certain groups, and another side that you show other groups? And I mean, that's the essence of being human, right? But really reflect on that polarity within your life. And you may want to discuss it because it's disseminating. You might want to bring unity amongst the loved ones in your life, and try to find a balance. A man succeeding in expressing himself simultaneously in 2 realms. I was talking to someone tonight actually about what that represents literally, regarding remote viewing. Maybe you guys astral travel at night. I don't know, but there is such a thing as remote viewing. And I know there are a lot of mediums and psychics in this room, because that's the other service I provide to people. And I think the message of this particular phase is expand your awareness and consciousness. Look beyond the obvious. All right. So, and it's relative to what happened on Friday night, which was the full moon at 1 degree of Aquarius. So here's the story, friends. Once upon a time, back in December of 2020, in fact, December 21st of 2020, there was the beginning of a new initiation on the planet. That initiation involved the expansive energy of Jupiter and the contracting energy of Saturn, as these 2 planets came together in the sky. You might remember that. They were often calling it the Star of Bethlehem. Well, it was a conjunction, and some of you may have seen it visually. It was a big deal from an astrological point of view, because it was called the Great Conjunction. When Jupiter and Saturn come together once every 20 years, they set a pattern in effect for the next 20 years relative to the way people do business, because these are social planets. Jupiter's about expanding and wisdom and travel, and Saturn's about contraction and gravity and keeping things in place. And so when these 2 planets come together, they basically set the tone. And in this particular year, in a new sign of Aquarius, the likes that we haven't seen on this planet since the very dawn of the Renaissance, the first wave of the Renaissance in 1460. Alrighty. So what? So is it 0 degrees of Aquarius? So we find where 0 degrees of Aquarius falls in our charts, and that's what's being expanded and reshaped and reworked, and will be for the next 20 years. So that's a little astrological nugget for you. Every time we have a lunation, every time we have an astrological event at that particular placement, it gets regrouped and gets elevated and it gets zinged. So that happened on Friday night. But what is Aquarius? Aquarius, my friends, is many, 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 many things, but it's really the sign of the people, the collective, the sign that says we are all connected by virtue of being human and by virtue of having magnificent cognition, great minds. Aquarius rules science, technology, computers, and weirdness, and outer space, and UFOs, and that which is detachment from sometimes the heart. The opposite sign, or the polarity of Aquarius, is the heart. It is Leo. Leo, the sign of creativity and love and passion and heart's desire. So for the next 20 years, big cycle, we're all trying to balance between the rights of the individual Leo, the spark of our independence, and the people, everybody else, of which we're all a part, the collective. And so that story is going to be tossed about back and forth in the next 20 years. But the keynote is technology. Technology, I mean, literally can connect all of us across the planet. This is amazing. I'm talking to some of you. I haven't even looked at the comments here, but I'm sure people are hearing me, and like we do every Wednesday night in the UK or Australia or Florida, wherever you may be. We are living in such a bizarre time of human history because of the technology. That's Aquarius. But every sign has its shadow side, right? People often ask when they're new to astrology, okay, what's the best sign? What's wrong with this sign? What's wrong with that? Oh my goodness. There's light and dark with everything, right? So in any case, we've got this new era that was born in December, and every time something gets activated, that makes it more important. So on Friday, it was activated because the full moon is a time when we shed light on something that we couldn't see previously. It illuminates. And then this dance, this narrative of Leo and Aquarius is coming to another peak, not by the moon and the sun, but by Mars and Jupiter. And that, my friend, peaks around noon tomorrow, Eastern Daylight Time. And it's basically when Mars, which is action and aggression and the warrior, is opposite Jupiter, which is Santa Claus energy. It's like Santa Claus is shaking hands with a soldier. Maybe not necessarily shaking hands, they're actually glaring at each other from across the room, because an opposition in astrology represents exactly what the 180-degree angle illuminates. Differences of opinion, which are opposite. But at the peak of an opposition, there's often a resolution, friends. At the peak of the full moon, which is the opposition between the sun and the moon, there's a resolution. There's a sense of calmness, because there's a sense of I become you and you become me, or I become it and it becomes me. There's a resolution to the growing antagonistic opposition. So let's put that into a framework. Where were you on the full moon, the buck moon of Friday the 23rd at 9:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time? Where were you? Were you observing the moon? Were you partying? Were you, I don't know, hanging out? Were you watching Netflix? Were you reading articles on CIA? I was in the ER. Oh, yes, I was. And here's my narrative. Here's my story, because I love it when astrology gives us teaching moments. You know, I am a Scorpio sun sign. I am very private. I am so private. My roommates don't even know what's going on with me, my children, half the time. Well, most of the time. Scorpios are known for their privacy, their privacy. But I was feeling very motivated to share with those of you who are coming to my class tomorrow night, which is going to be canceled because of the story I'm about to tell you, but I want to weave it into astrology. All right, so I was in the ER. Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm still breathing. But I was there under the auspices of an attack. Mars, right? Mars. Mars was attacking me, also known as, AKA, a kidney stone. If you've ever had a kidney stone attack, my goodness, you know what I'm talking about. My head was spinning a little bit like Linda Blair. If you don't know who Linda Blair is, you're not as old as I am. But anyway, it was this amazing 100 plus pain. I didn't see straight. I was twisting around. I couldn't move. And of course, there are no beds at the inn. You know, the hospital had no beds. Thank God for my sister Tina. She advocated and said, just because you don't have beds, you can get her on a gurney and stick her with some pain meds. Okay. All right. My long, silly story short, the full moon at 0, 1 degrees of Aquarius was sitting right on my Chiron in my chart, the wounded healer. It was activating my Chiron in such a way that I was wounded. Now, to be even more transparent, the sun was also squaring my sun, and this happens to each of you and all of us twice a year. When the sun squares our sun, because my chart has Chiron squaring my sun. So when the sun squares our sun, that represents tension and pressure and friction so that a new order of something can be built, as it were. So yeah, anyway, I suffered mightily, blah, blah, blah. I saw the doctor, follow up, and guess what I'm doing on the second page of our story of the astrology. Tomorrow, as Mars is opposite Jupiter, Mars attack, Jupiter expands, I'll be having a little surgery and getting that darn thing out of my body. Isn't that interesting? I talked to the head doctor in the ER, and I said, and I was delirious. Oh, don't worry, I'll be fine at the full moon when it peaks. And she looks at me, what do you mean? Well, of course you will, because you'll be pumped up with IV pain meds at that time. Anyway, all is well. It's just a little anecdotal thing. And the way the doctors talk about it, it's like getting a tooth pulled these days. Thank goodness for technological, modern Aquarian medicine. And I'm blessed for that, as we all are, living at this time and space of human history. The point is that this crisis in my particular chart, my particular life, is going to be resolved tomorrow. Hence, I'm not teaching tomorrow night. And by the way, I am going to be providing a lot of information about these narratives the following Thursday under my new moon class, which you're all invited to. I do these new moon classes once a month because we have a new moon in Leo, and I'm really fired up about Leo because Leo, again, is the sovereign. And that leads me to the story of the collective in this moment. A lot of the news coming out of different agencies, not just New York State, but California, and I'm sure around the world, is that this is a blast from the past because Jupiter has gone backwards into Aquarius. Mars is opposite. So who is in charge? There's a lot of talk here in Western New York about the masks returning at the end of the week, for example. And a lot of talk about mandating the V's for the V, which is really, really, really interesting. And so I just put a link on the part of this particular webcast today that quotes a different point of view from doctors. I'm not a doctor, so I like to quote doctors, but the Academy of American Physicians and Surgeons are very much advocating for choice. And yes, the lawsuits are beginning to come in concerning mandating V's for V's. That is a perfect astrological narrative. Mars attacks Leo, the sovereign, telling the people, the Aquarian people, what to do, what to think, because Jupiter can be very self-righteous. Jupiter in Aquarius says, well, I know what's best for all the people. I'm the wise one. I'm bigger than life itself. I got it going, man. I'm Jupiter. I'm the king of the sky. I'm Zeus itself. So listen to me. And then we have a clash of the Titans going on this week. And of course, the news is about mandates for the V for the V. I don't know, friends. I don't know. Starting back on January 12th of 2020, when Pluto, the godfather, was holding hands and hugging Saturn, the terrible, grumpy old man, which was ushering in the age and the year of transformation in Capricorn, of course. I was always saying and thinking, and myself and many other fine, wonderful astrologers were saying and thinking the same thing. Power, manipulation, and control by the structure and the powers that be are in our face now. That's not a statement of anything other than astrology. So please do reflect on that, my friends, because we are living quite a narrative, quite a story. And all the more so because in the next couple of days, we're under disseminating moon phase at 6 degrees of Aries. Find it in your chart. And let's tell you where that might affect you most of all as you look at your chart. Okay, I'm just going to say hello to people in the room and hello to people in the room. And we're getting a lot of different comments about freedom of choice. Hi, Nancy, Cindy, Melody, Sherry, Paula. Thank you, Paula, for your good wishes. Thank you very much for the prayers and good wishes for my recovery for my pesky little kidney stone that was just a perfect storm in my chart. I can't make this up. Thank you, Rodney. Hi, Mary. Hi, Deb, Casey. Hello, Cindy. Hi, Kathy. Hello. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. After I go through this, we'll go through our mediumship. And if you're new to this, feel free to answer questions so you have your name in the rolling comments. So when I pick people to do the mediumship with, you'll have more opportunity to be, quote, chosen. So I like to be that man expressing himself simultaneously in two realms. To me, that also represents the split brain that we all have, the intuitive brain, the right-sided brain, the brain that has compassion and symbolism and loves music and loves scent and nuance, and the logical left side, which is linear and does abstract thinking. So when I do my mediumship, I just close up logic and go into spirit time. We all can do that. And coming up, I've been feeling a calling to do this for quite some time, but I will be doing some classes, probably initiate them in about 2 weeks, and maybe do some prototypes for you to sample them on how to use the astrology to activate that right side of your brain, how to become a little bit more intuitive using some of the very rich, wise symbols inherent in this ancient, amazing language. Well, in any case, for this week, friends, we're working with the disseminating moon, 6 degrees of Aries, meaning that we're communicating our truth about what we learned from the full moon. They're all touchstones along the life. If you're Aries or Aries rising, this particular week is about you just being your authentic self, expressing yourself in two realms, but also having the confidence and the courage to be who you are, to really be feisty and not worry about it. If you're Taurus or Taurus rising, the energy is activating your particular spiritual center. It's helping you perhaps sleep more deeply, or meditate more completely, or pray, or to want to be by yourself, to spend some time in nature perhaps as a good Taurus rising or Taurus sun may need to be. Gemini or Gemini rising, this is a great time, a great week to be talky and chatty Cathy with your friends, connect with groups, associations, to reinvigorate your social outlets for this week. For Cancer or Cancer rising, your energy is being activated in the house of career to be a leader, to be stronger in the way you're communicating to others, and to nurture others using your special brand of compassion. Leo or Leo rising, this particular disseminating moon is asking you to think about travel or to think about sharing or teaching or marketing. For Virgo or Virgo rising, this particular energy is asking you to reconform yourself, reboot yourself to connect with your inner power, whether that power be spiritual or psychological or even financial, taking care of the business of empowering yourself. Virgo, or I just did the Virgo, I'm sorry. Libra or Libra rising is about, this week is about your partner and perhaps communicating with your partner in a new way, speaking your truth, and at the same time making more of a commitment, or if things are not working, letting things go. For Scorpio or Scorpio rising, I'm Scorpio, go figure. This is about your health. Scorpio or Scorpio rising, it's about your health, it's about your work, it's about self-care, it's about managing the way you do your daily patterns. For Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, have fun. This particular phase is about you taking pleasure in your hobbies or your activities, your sports. Make it a joyful week. For our Capricorn friends or Capricorn rising people, it's about your home and family. Maybe do some cleaning, some deep summer cleaning, or spending time with the family, organize a family reunion, making family and home a priority. For Aquarius or Aquarius rising, this is about you communicating and sharing ideas, spending time with brothers and sisters, and shoring up your workspace. And last but never least, our Pisces friends. This energy is activating your self-worth and value. It's asking you to take stock of how you're making your money, and perhaps a good time to plan to create more abundance. Maybe set up a game plan to negotiate a raise, for example. Alrighty, so that is for our astrology. And we're now going to do some message work, and thank you. We are going to do that. I'm just going to spend some time using this and saying hello from people all across Kansas, in southern Colorado. Good evening, good day. Again, my mind on the bigger collective, one of the major issues that we will be looking at literally for the next 20 years is the role of technology in controlling each of our lives. I would say without a shadow of a doubt that, my phone, it's not called my phone, is it? It's iPhone, because I'm really a phone, and each of you are an iPhone too. Isn't that the most clever name you've ever heard? I'm sure by design. AI phone. I'm a phone. Well, anyway, Aquarius, and in my estimation, we're not in the quote total Aquarian age, but this is the foreshadowing of the role of technology, and try to balance that in a safe, skip that word, in an integrated way that doesn't take away from the flesh and blood of the Virgo Pisces age of human beings. So going forward, whenever we have Aquarius or Leo being activated on a daily pattern and or a monthly pattern, I think things begin to rev up with the overreach of the greater cycle of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Therefore, again, we're seeing a blast from the past, more information about control relative to the management by the kings and queens, the Leo, opposite to the people. And it's going to be super interesting as we get into the new nodal shift this fall about how that's going to be played out with others. All right. Thank you for sharing this. I forgot to remind you. Would you be also kind is to share this on your pages? Just let people know about it. I think that's a good thing. So every time you share, I put your name in a basket, and I draw a name. And hi from Wales, Rob Lewis. Hello. And so as I'm pulling your names, I put your name in here, and I send out a Sabian symbol list. If you've already won, then I have a numerology booklet as well. I have little booklets available to people. They're just a fun entrance level into doing astrology. And, it's just a little incentive for you to perhaps share, because sharing is caring, right? Okay. Hi, Lisa Moore. Hi, Melody. Okay. Hi, beautiful people. Hi there. Hello, hello, hello. All righty. Great. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Tonight's winner is Patty Kahn or Kuhn. Patty Kahn. Patty from Connecticut or Patty Kahn? Congratulations, Patty, dear. Thank you for sharing. You win tonight. And what I'm going to do, I don't know. I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting with you ever. I'm not sure. But if you'd be so kind as to Facebook me with 3 things: your birthday, your birth time, your birth city, and your email, and I'll get your present out. All right. Thanks for being here. Congratulations, Patty. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Terry Lloyd. You were very kind. I love the UK. I cried when I got off the plane. My people are from the UK. It was many years ago. And now, the latest and greatest news from the UK, you can go to that beautiful fair island, but you have to have the V for the V, right? I might just quarantine for a while. Just to smell that UK air, it doesn't bother me if I quarantine for a while. Everyone has a right to their bodies, don't they? And some of us have medical conditions. That's just my 2 cents. I get suspicious when I see Leo and Aquarius fighting off on each other because, Leo is the king, but all of us want to be the kings and queens of our lives. For the people, too. We want to take care of everybody. But sovereignty is going to be a big issue, my dear friends, since December 21st of 2020. We'll see how it plays out. But one thing we still have sovereignty over is our psychic centers, our emotional psychic meditation and mediumistic talents. So I'm going to pick a couple people. We'll give a little message, and we'll see what happens. And I send my prayer because I open up the spirit. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love and light, truth, inspiration, and healing for the highest and best as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. My finger wants to stop right here. I'm not making this up. There's no rules with this. My fingers seriously stopped with Patty Kahn. Am I pronouncing your name right, Patty? You're a 2-time winner. My goodness, I want to take a look at your chart. This is a lucky day for you. So Patty's going to get a mediumistic message too. I have to be fair about this. My fingers rested with Patty. Are you still with us, Patty? Okay. All right. Oh, Lisa Pearl, let me explain, honey. I'm drawn to all of you. I would love to give a read for every single one of you, you good people, for being here. And I appreciate it so much. The only fair way, I think, is just like randomly do this, right? Up and down on there. Okay. Okay, Patty. Welcome, Emmy. Hi, new here. Very grateful. Okay, you're from Broken Hill. Oh, my goodness. Hello, all. Congrats there. Okay, from Australia. I promise I'm going to go visit you in the flesh in Australia someday. I'm not sure what the quarantine thing is about. Anyway, okay. As I'm tuning into you, Patty, I'm being struck with, it's interesting I'm doing this with my hands. Patty, I'm, okay, let me just take a breath. I'm just going to start talking, and you can please give me feedback, Patty, or not. I would love to get the feedback. I'm almost seeing you in a picture of being out in a storm. This is like tobogganing or out in a almost like a blizzard, and trying to go against the elements. Obviously, this is metaphorical, or maybe not, depending on where you are on the planet right now. But it feels like you've been in a type of storm. I'm from Buffalo, New York. All right. Buffalo, New York, USA. We're known for our whiteouts and our snowy weather. And I just got you in this image. I don't know you. I don't know where you live, but I'm seeing you trudging through whiteouts. And I think I want to interpret that as that you are moving ahead in your life, moving on your path, not using your five senses, but using your spidey senses, your intuition, moving ahead in your life with the grace that comes from, I just have to keep on going. It feels that there's been a lot of burdens in your life of late, and you're just trudging ahead in the eye of the storm, but you have faith that if you keep on going, it will be okay, that the snow will abate and you'll be able to see again. It's interesting. It's not darkness that I see you going through. There's a sense of cold. Again, this might be more metaphorical than actual, but the idea is that you are being frozen out of information regarding some loved ones in your life. I want to use the word, you're being frozen out. So you keep on going forward in terms of trying to maintain your dignity and your awareness of loving them from a distance because you've been frozen out. That's the word I'm getting. I'm also want to express to you that there's some talent with your hands. Remember, I started moving my hands. I don't know if you are an artist or if you work maybe with your hands like a massage therapist, but I feel that there's a lot of wisdom, body wisdom with your hands. Actually, I want to say that you might knit or sew or embroider. And with that wisdom comes a sense of, again, faith. It's a form of meditation for you when you do this activity. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? You have lots of faith. Okay, you are moving ahead. All right, I'm just glancing at what you're saying. Patty, do you do anything with your hands? Do you have any activity? You do. Okay, thank you. Because it feels that you're very good at managing this particular creative activity. I'm also getting from spirit for you, Patty. They're coming in, they're holding hands. I don't know if this is a husband and wife, mother, father, or I don't think it's your mother and father. It's a mother or a grandmother and a grandfather are coming in together from spirit. And they lost each other early. In other words, one of the spouses died early, but they're together on the other side. And they're reminding you that love comes in different forms, and they had a particular love story. And I think I'm with the father side of the family. those that particular patriarchal grandparents, that they had, like, people would say, oh, they're so cute, they're so in love, but one of the spouses had passed away earlier. That's the evidence that's coming through for me. And there's a part of you that um, wonders, you want to have that same type of sacred, forever love affair, but there's some parallel between your life and these grandparents, is what I'm trying to say here, honey. Okay. I'm back with you on that path through the snow. You are moving forward, even though it's been very, very, very difficult. And it's almost like the next scene I'm seeing is by next spring, there might be a whole new life in front of you. Like, literally, the snow is clear. You are in a new arena in your life. You have more bounty, more abundance, and you're just exhaling a lot more. And relative to your spiritual journey, it feels like you are a caretaker type of person, but you might not be doing whatever it is, the healing or the astrology or whatever professionally, but you're already helping people. You might not be paid for it correctly, but you might be advancing some new career along those lines. I guess that makes sense to you. Okay, so keep the faith and know that this grandparent pair are some of your best guides on the other side. They really have got your back. Okay. All right. Oh, you okay? Patty, so you are helping people as a psychologist. My goodness. Okay. I'm glad you shared that with me, because there's something relative to your work that might be this new tool for your patients. The idea of having faith, going through the storms of life, and I'm seeing you cultivating a book, what do you call it? A tool, a retreat, a metaphor that's going to help people navigate during the darkest hours. That you've been doing that in your practice, but that is the abundance when we get into the springtime. You're pulling this together, this toolbox that you've worked on in your career. Okay, so you're very welcome, Patty. And I'll be sending you your Sabian symbols. I hope you enjoy them. One of my favorite Sabian symbol authors is from Australia. I'd like to do a shout out to Linda Hill, Linda with a Y. She published probably about 20 years ago a beautiful book. It's called 360 Degrees of Wisdom. I just want to do a shout out to Linda Hill, and a shout out to our wonderful friends at the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. Please check out their offerings, friends. They are always having exciting, timely events, more than I can possibly do as an individual, but they have it all covered. And of course, I contribute as well. I'm contributing right now. Let's do another person. Okay. Okay. Good evening. I'm touching with Melissa Crawley Coulter. Melissa, you're from New York, and I hope you're still in the room. You have to be in the room to receive this. I mean, don't have to be in the room to win the prizes, but I'm with Melissa Crawley Coulter. Let's see if Melissa's still here. Melissa. I'll wait for a moment. Okay. Hi, Loy. Calling Melissa. Melissa. Oh, I have to say that I'm still here, Melissa. Okay, so again, as a recap, my friends, we had the full moon on Friday that was illuminating 0 degrees of Aries in your chart. And the dance of Aries. Did I say Aries? It was illuminating 0, 1 degrees of Aquarius, and Aquarius and Leo do this little dance between sovereignty and the people. All right. And so tomorrow we have the exact opposition of Mars, which is action, aggression, and Jupiter, which is expansion and know it all. And I think it was so interesting that Jupiter went back into Aquarius. So it's revisiting the core issues relative to how to manage the people relative to the V. Okay, so Jupiter in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius from 2020 onward until March 13th is all about how are we going to manage these people, how are we going to safeguard the public. But then we have the opposition of Mars in Leo. Okay. All right, Melissa. All right. Okay, so we're going to do one more. I think she may have left the room. Okay, so this is the last one, guys. I close my eyes. If anybody else has a better idea on how to do this, but we'll just keep on doing the finger thing. Okay, Loy Kura. That's where my finger went. Loy Kura from Pensacola, Florida. Hello there. May I talk to you? Good night, Deb. Hi, Lisa. Loy Kura. All right, you're here. Good. All right. Loy. You like fish, right? Because you're in Florida. No, that's not a very psychic thing to say. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love and light, truth, inspiration, and healing. As we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. Amen. The first thing I'm coming in with you, Loy, is this tremendous heartfelt excitement. I don't know if you are in love right now or just recently in love, but it feels like you've just recently found a treasure. And it's interesting I'm picking this up because this is for everybody, so don't tune out anybody. The disseminating moon that we have tonight for the next couple of days is at 6 degrees of Aries, which is attaching itself way back when to the Venus Sun star point of March 26. In other words, we might be talking about today, tonight, tomorrow, what our heart's desires are that we started to decide upon back in March 26 of 2021. When I'm with your energy, I'm feeling like you put something out there at the end of March, first part of April. And you kind of, I want to be in love. And love is here. And it's like you can't believe it. It's like, wow, I'm in love and things are growing and growing and growing. Does that make sense to you, Loy? You're saying wow, so I think that's a yes. I'm really see, I'm really in your energy, honey. And it's like you're kind of pinching yourself and you're saying, yeah, but this might not work or this might not. No one knows anything, right? The fact that we even have the opportunity to open ourselves up to any other human beings with trust and love is a miracle unto itself. And as I'm talking like this, I'm actually bringing in a wise old woman from the other side of life for you, Loy. And this was, I don't think it was a biological grandmother. She may have been a biological aunt, but she was part of this group of feminine elders that you knew growing up. It was like kind of the patch of women getting together, and they would have their tea. I think tea, not coffee, maybe a little shot or two. These are very powerful, wise, spiritual women. Oh, good. Thank you for the feedback. She said it was amazing. But no, I'm not amazing. I open myself up to spirit. Okay, that's what I do, friends. And that's what I want to teach everybody to do, because spirit doesn't lie. Your leaders might, I might, me, ego, Cassandra Joan Butler might, but when you're aligned with the numinous, with spirit, with all that there is, with creator, with God of your understanding, it doesn't lie. Back to you, Loy. So as I'm tuning into your energy, these women are kind of cackling around and they're so excited for you because you have found some peace and some joy. Now, relative to this relationship that you're in, I'm getting the symbol of Virgo. So we don't want to be too critical or self-critical about yourself. Just trust and love and know that this is a gift because you were invoking this love. You understand? You were asking the gods or praying or manifesting or doing magic or whatever you do to attract this new person into your life. And I feel very good with it. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, good. All right, dear friends. I think we're at time. So, recap. We are in volatile times, interesting times, important times, historic times, just like at the beginning of the age of the Renaissance. And we are potentially able to be enlightened and to wake up as long as we keep our vessels as clear as possible. Yes, listen to all the experts, listen to all the opinions, but do your own sovereignty. Trust the king or queen inside of you. That's going to be a really tough nut to crack because we're also into this Aquarian technocratic age when even my voice is being filtered through some machine somewhere, somehow. Do you know how computers work? I sure as heck don't, right? It's above and beyond my pay grade. It's one of the reasons why Aquarius is considered to be one of the ruling notes of astrology, because astrology, my estimation, confirms that we're made of all the same stardust, but in different configurations. We're all the same humans, but we're all different. Uniform in the universe, but still individuals. So we have to keep mindful of that dance between me and us, and both can live happily ever after, I hope. But the Mars opposite Jupiter is going to have a little crashing thing to say about it tomorrow. So be aware, whether it's the news in your country or the news in your business or in your home, it's going to be like this clash between the titans. So be aware of it. It will pass, and then we'll get into the new moon energy, and we'll implant and plant and seed a new beginning where Leo falls in our chart. God bless you all, and have a fabulous week, and get all that insight and meditate and pray, because we are all capable of it. God bless. See you next time.